We still have a lot of questions about the COVID-19 vaccines. Now we know that in general, most of these vaccines are very safe and very effective, even against the Delta variant of the coronavirus. But I hear a lot of questions from viewers on my YouTube channel. Questions like this one. I took the vaccine and then I did the antibody test and my number came out as, and I'm going to make this one up just for example, my number came up as 200. Is that good? Do I have protection against coronavirus? Do I have immunity? Or a question like this one. Last month I was infected. Now I have recovered and I did the antibody test and it came out positive. So do I need to take the vaccine or do I have natural immunity for coronavirus now? If you have questions like these, this video may be helpful to you because I just came across some research that is helping me understand a little bit better. People want to know, is there a relationship between the level of antibodies and your level of immunity? Not a straightforward question to answer, but we are beginning to learn a little bit more. Hello everyone, I'm Naveen Agarwal and I want to welcome all of you to my weekly video update. If you're new to this channel, I talk about COVID-19 testing, rapid antigen tests or antibody tests or RT-PCR tests. I talk about COVID vaccines quite a lot and also COVID treatments. So if these topics are of interest to you, subscribe below and leave a comment or a question. I would love to hear from you and look it over, think about this, do some research and make a video like this to help you out or even respond to your questions and comments in a very timely way. I love doing that. So let me know what's on your mind. Okay, so in this particular video, I'm going to go over with you some results that were just published in the Journal of American Medical Association, which is a very prestigious journal, about a study that was conducted in Belgium. And they measured the level of antibodies among people who had received 2 doses of either the Pfizer or the Moderna vaccines. And this data talks about what they found. So we look into this, try to understand what it means, but more importantly, what it does not mean. So here is my philosophy in life. After doing so much of work and research, that before we can understand what the data is telling us, we should understand what it is not telling us. And most people jump to conclusions because that's what they want to see. And I'm not one of those people. So I will tell you straight what I know, what I don't know. So we look at what this means and what it does not mean. Let's look into this. So this study was conducted in Belgium, over 1,600 healthcare workers. So it was not a general population study. It was confined to only healthcare workers. They received 2 doses of either the Moderna or Pfizer mRNA vaccines. About 20% of them were previously infected. So now we have something to compare before and after. And what they did was that they compared the total IgG levels to spike protein. Now this spike protein is a very special type of a protein on the surface of the virus, which allows it to enter our cells through receptor binding domains. And they used a system from Roche Diagnostics called Elecsys, this very popular system. And they measured these total IgG to spike protein 6 to 10 weeks after the second dose. And as I mentioned before, this was published in the Journal of American Medical Association last month. Now let's look at the results. So this is a very simple chart, but I'll take some time to explain this to you. This side of the data is for Moderna and this side of the data is for Pfizer. And what it is showing us that on average is a geometric mean. The Moderna vaccine recipients had on average about 3,800 units per milliliter of antibodies. And this is a log scale, 1 and a million here. Pfizer recipients had on average about 1,444 units per milliliter. That's just an average, okay? And many times we are fooled by averages. So I like to look at also the high value here and the high value here, low value here and the low value here. So what we can see is that there's a big range. And the range is bigger among people who receive the Pfizer vaccine compared to people who receive the Moderna vaccine. So the thing to note here is that some people, even after receiving 2 doses, will have very low response. doesn't mean that they are not protected. Some people may have a very high response, but in general, most people will have a pretty good response, and most people are confined here. So this is the fat part of the chart where most of the data is here and most of the data is here. But this is the important point to keep in mind, is that don't look at just the numbers in terms of averages. Look at the range, because you may be among those who may have a slow response based on certain factors, and we'll talk about some of those in this video. So another thing here to talk about is that it doesn't mean Moderna is significantly better than Pfizer. It just seems to generate a much higher response, and they're speculating that this could be because Moderna vaccine has a higher level of mRNA in its vaccine concentration, and it is given 4 weeks instead of 3 weeks after the first dose. So maybe your system has a longer time to build up more antibodies for Moderna versus Pfizer. So they're speculating that, but we need to kind of wait a little bit more to understand what is going on. Bottom line is, when the vaccination shows that antibody levels will go up. Now in the next slide, I will talk about the differences between people who were not infected before versus people who were infected before, and what their levels are showing after vaccination. That's a pretty interesting data. So let's look into that. So here, this side is uninfected people and this side is infected people. And again, this data is for Moderna and this data is for Pfizer. Same, this data is for Moderna, this is for Pfizer. So what they are finding is that for Moderna, people who are uninfected on average after vaccination had about 8,000. And those who were infected before, after vaccination, had over 10,000. So pretty big jump. Same thing they found for Pfizer recipients, 1,100 versus 2,800. But notice the more important part is that this long tail here and here is significantly reduced. So two things. If you were infected before and you take this vaccine, it's like getting a booster shot. Your levels will go up by a lot. And also, if you were at a low level before, you are more likely to be at the top end now instead of continuing to be on the lower end. So it might work better for you if you were infected and you still took the vaccine. So this was very important result from my view when people ask me whether they should take the vaccine or not if they were infected. The answer is yes, they should, unless there is a good reason not to. Maybe there's a health reason, or because of vaccine shortages you have a limited supply and there's a policy that if you are infected before, you have a lower priority. But if not, you should get vaccinated because it will boost your level of antibodies. Now in the next slide, I will talk about the data by age. That's also very interesting to see what they found by segmenting the data by age. So let's look into that. So here, this panel is for people less than 35 years old. This is for 35 to 55 and this is over 55. And again, this side is Moderna and this side is Pfizer. Same, Moderna, Pfizer, Moderna, Pfizer. And in general, what they are finding is that the older you are, the lower is the response. And more importantly, longer is this tail. That means if you are older, you are more likely to have, in general, lower response. And also you may be at the lower end, further lower end. So that is why for older people or immunocompromised people, their immune system may not respond fast enough or strong enough. And as a result, CDC and FDA, we know they are considering a booster shot for these people. So let's look into what this means. Clearly, there's a link between vaccination status and the level of antibodies in your system. Now, how high is high enough? Or should you always shoot for as high as possible? We don't know. But a sufficiently high level is a good indication of protection or immunity. Now, immunity is not an absolute term. This is only one type of immunity. You have cellular immunity that may be working for you even if you have low antibody levels. So not a straightforward answer. But in general, what we are learning from this data is that if you have sufficiently high level, you're good. You have reasonably good protection. Keep in mind that the number is only for this test. If you do another test, that number may be different, and don't compare number from one test with number from another test. You should do the same test over a period of time to see what your antibody levels are doing. And that's the second point to understand here. They are not showing you how fast that number comes down. We don't know, and we know that within 6 to 8 months after receiving a vaccine, these numbers are expected to go down. How fast? We don't know. Maybe if you're too high in the beginning, you go much faster. Maybe you are in the middle, you go slower. So that matters too. If you are concerned about that, you really need to do this test over and over again over a period of time within, let's say, 6 months to 8 months after taking the vaccine. And you may have a reason to do that. Talk to your doctor about it. The third thing is, do not be alarmed if you are on the low end of antibody levels after receiving the vaccination. Doesn't mean you have no immunity. Maybe it's not as good. Maybe you need to consider a booster shot after talking to your doctor. Maybe you have a special situation, a medical condition, or you are older, you are immunocompromised. Those are the reasons by which you may end up being on the low end. Whatever it is, the bottom line is this is only one side of the story. Continue to take precautions, especially if you live in an area where the infection rates are very high. Most likely the virus is mutating. So wear mask, maintain social distancing. We know breakthrough infections are increasing, especially in areas where there's high transmission. So even if you have high antibody levels, it doesn't protect you 100%. Now granted that if you are reinfected or infected after receiving a vaccine, it's unlikely that you will be seriously sick. But who wants to take that chance, right? There's still a chance that you may get seriously sick. So continue to take precautions. Okay, to summarize, bottom line, antibody levels are correlated with response to the vaccine. And in general, a high level should be considered a good level. Doesn't mean that there is a magic number, that above 200, 300, it is best. A high number is good. If you are positive for antibodies, that's a good sign that your immune system has responded. Number 2, do not compare number from one test to another. Number 3, if you happen to be in a special situation from age perspective, from immunocompromised perspective, or any other medical factors that makes you believe that you might be on the low end of antibodies after vaccination, talk to your doctor about the idea of getting a booster shot. And finally, and most importantly, continue to take precautions, especially if you live in an area where transmission rates are high. I hope you all will find this information useful. Share in your comments. What is your experience? What are your concerns? Have you done an antibody test? Have you taken a vaccine? Are you hesitant about it? What are your concerns? I would love to hear from you and engage with you as much as I can, either by responding to your comments or making a brand new video like this to answer some specific questions. Finally, I want to wish all of you be safe, be healthy, and I look forward to hearing from you.